Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Death by Pony, and today we're going right back into Lake of Voices. So without further ado, let's hop in. As we inch our way across, something strange starts to happen. I notice the bridge starting to bend down to the right. I suddenly realize that the weight of us is stressing the support beams. The others have noticed as well. The sound of alarm resounds from both in front of me and behind. I speak in a hushed whisper, trying to remain calm.
We need to focus on keeping ourselves centered. We can't let the bridge tilt.
I think over our predicament. I can't leave Margaret behind. There's nowhere for her to go, with no other source of light nearby. Leo could try going by himself while we keep still. We aren't close enough to the guide for Lou to remain in the light completely. However, with only him moving, hopefully, the bridge will remain stable enough for him to cross it quickly. With him safely on the other side, we'll have an easier time keeping the bridge from bending again. I can't be sure if it's worth the risk, though. These concerns may be a knee-jerk overreaction to seeing a sign of danger. If all of us go slowly, it's possible we could still cross together. Say nothing.
I want to stay here. What if it breaks?
Yes, we need to move forward. If someone notices the bridge bending at all, they need to slow and tell the rest of us.
Both of them nod, and so we begin inching our way forward. I focus my thought on putting one foot in front of the other, keeping my balance in check as I try to remain centered. Despite our best efforts, however, the bridge begins to tilt sideways once more. We can't stay in sync with one another, causing the front bridge to bend down to the left, while the back twists to the right.
Stop! We need to rebalance.
All of us moving our positions at once only further contorts the bridge. It begins to rock dangerously back and forth. I start to struggle to remain on my feet, let alone be perfectly centered. It isn't me alone. The lot of us struggle to keep from toppling over as the bridge waves from side to side. I hear a high-pitched yelp from behind me. I turn my head to see Margaret is slipping. She shuffles half-heartedly on her feet and draws dangerously close to the edge. I reach a hand out to her, as futile as it is. She has already lost her balance and topples over the side of the bridge completely.
Margaret!
I shout desperately, but my voice can't help. She struggles just below the surface of the thick water until the monsters make their way to her. She never resurfaces, not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. The bridge slowly creaks back into place, sloshing as it settles into its original positions as if nothing happened. An eerie stillness overtakes the area as I stare, mouth trembling, at the place my companion was lost. I'm overwhelmed with feelings. My eyes fill to the brim with tears. Why? Why did this have to happen? Before I have any time to grieve, the guide's voice rings out on a wind from across the bridge.
You cannot stay there. You must keep going.
I count my breaths in an attempt to calm myself. As long as I stand here, Luke can't move.
I'm going to start walking again.
I will too.
Luke speaks very softly. Now, with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it's not as difficult a journey to make. The mere idea of one of us being missing pains me to my core. Eventually, we make it back to the other side of the narrow bridge, and the remaining 3 of us stand together quietly as we process what happened. I place my free hand over my face and cover my eyes as I begin to weep. Not all of us made it, no matter how many times I stated in my mind. I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago, and yet now, how could this have happened?
Forget what you saw. As of right now, nothing matters except for the fact that we have yet to reach the shore. Morning will arrive soon. We must continue.
I can understand the words. I need to keep myself together until I reach the shore, and yet it seems impossible to actually do. Everyone is being lost, one by one. I can't take it. The guide taps the base of his staff into the boards, not allowing me to become lost in my sorrow. Lou shuffles towards the guide, but doesn't make it very far before he runs out of light from my lantern to remain in. I manage to make myself take a step forward. My stomach twists as we simply have to move past the death of another person for the second time. It's so cruel. Margaret was so bright, so thoughtful. Even with her teasing remarks, she had so much to offer, and it was all lost in a moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. After hours of navigating the web of bridges, the faint silhouette of the shore creeps into view. It seems unbelievable that the end is in sight. Even that wisp of hope does little to ease the ache inside me. I still feel hollow inside. Those of us remaining continue in the direction of the shore, and the darkness around us begins to break. A seed of worry sprouts inside me. Will we make it? The guide ahead seems to have no sight of concern on his face. I hold on to the hope that we will be able to make it through. We are near the very end of the bridges. I can smell the trees and the earth, and even through the fog I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. But between the end and us, a prowler appears. Lou doesn't seem surprised, as though he had expected not to make it without further issue, or even at all. I eye the monster intently. It makes no moves to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
The guide says nothing, however he extends his hand to accept my offer. I feel my body tense for a moment before relinquishing my light for the guide. It's not much farther. I'm sure we can make it. The guide slowly steps ahead, and the creature brace for confrontation. Lou and I stay close enough to the guide's back to keep from being left behind in the darkness.
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
He then darts forward and launches the light directly at the prowler. It makes a snarling hiss, and it retreats defeated back into the black waters. None of us waste even a second looking back. We push forward. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light edging figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I possibly manage without slipping on the boards. We run across the entire way, spurred on by Shoreline's rapid approach. Miraculously, I feel my feet plunge into the dirt. I stumble forward, nearly collapsing into the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it. Lou stares hard at the dirt beneath him. I cannot place what it is that he might be feeling, though I really know how I feel right now. I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Finally, I look up from my lap to see Lou standing away from me. His gaze is as empty as he stares out into the thick fog veiling the lake. As though he realized I was staring, Lou suddenly twists his view back. We look at one another for a time. I can only guess what he may be thinking. No words need be exchanged between us. I'm glad for it, because I'm not sure I would be able to speak even if I needed to. The sound of sloshing and wood lurching capture our attention as the bridges begin to sink. In a few minutes, only the lone dock is left. With that, the guide walks towards me.
It is time to leave this place. There is nothing left for you here.
Upon being addressed by him, I rise to my feet. He has a calm look on his face, though there's force behind his serenity. I open my mouth to attempt to speak. However, I quickly realize I have little idea what to say. Do I thank him for this? Should I give him my trust? Was our survival because of him or despite him? Even now, I cannot know for certain. And then the fog removed from my thoughts, after everything has happened, it becomes clear. I harden my face to match his serious disposition. There's something he is certainly right of. This lake isn't a place to linger. Going around and round in circles will never help. We cannot submit our lives to our mind of Sinlos. For better or ill, there is only one person who can help those once they are within its grasp, the guide. If he were removed, the place would be no safer. What I must do, if I truly want to defend the others, is keep them from coming here at all. When I return to my village, I intend to make that information actually known to our elder. For that to happen, we must leave.
Goodbye.
His eyes narrow as he looks over me. I begin to feel uncomfortable under his scrutiny, but for a moment, I could swear I noticed him smiling slightly. However, I could easily be a trick of the morning sun. I look away to face Lou, not wanting to get caught in this any longer. He catches my eyes on him and looks back. Lou opens his mouth, however no words come out, so he closes it again. The two of us stare at each other down awkwardly. After another brief moment, he gives me a shaky smile.
Goodbye. And, thank you.
He backs away from me slowly at first, studying my face deeply one last time before turning around and completely darting into the forest. I feel so caught off guard by the actions that by the time I recover, he's already gone. I recognize that he probably needs some time alone to process what happened. He's safe, he's alive, that's all that matters. Despite the firmness I so intently tried to have, my heart starts to waver. Vamele, Margaret, they're both still here. I wish to give them a proper farewell. I want to do something. My eyes begin to water and I almost turn back around. No, it's done. I need to remember that. They would not want me to be ascribed their lives to Sinlos. Nothing would disgrace their memory more. I will keep them in my thoughts without allowing the lake to poison me. Whew. With my steadfastness truly regained, I marched into the light with no hesitation. With solemn heart, I arrived at Hemmer. They were grateful to see me, for I was a desperate situation indeed. Their urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hemmer's own guard in forcing back the graders. But during the moments of calm when the sun went down, I remembered the lake. The villagers were alarmed when I arrived on my own, but it did not take them long to guess what must have happened to Vamele. Having to recount the terrible story was almost more than I could endure. Yet I know that it will be even worse when I must tell my fellow guards back home. They deserve to hear the truth from me, regardless of how I feel. When receiving my payment for his services, the guide must give a report of all those who both succeed and fail to cross the lake. The name and fate of Margaret soon became known in Hemmer. I added that she was an intelligent, thoughtful person, and urged them to show respect for her passing. I hope that one day I will have the opportunity to go to her hometown and give my own proper respects. Lou never reappeared after walking away that morning. I do not know where he has gone. Wherever he went, I pray that he will live a safe and wonderful life. Perhaps someday we will meet once more. I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. He will remain obscured in that realm of fog, fear, and mysterious light off in the distance that is ever out of reach of the real world. I worry about when I must return home to my usual life. It will be difficult to continue as things were before. One thing I know for certain is that my village elders must be told that no one is to cross Sinlos again. I have already told the Hemmer leaders the same. Not a single more person should have to experience what we did. Its darkness will remain with me for the rest of my days. Though so much was lost, I tried to believe that our lessons would keep others from suffering the same way, and in the end, something will be gained. Alright, we got 2 more endings for this. Need to go to load 8. Once I am near him, I notice that he isn't becoming more stable in gait. I ponder over whether I should mention my thoughts to him or not. Take a full dose. Margaret sighs in annoyance, but concedes to my suggestion.
He might as well. Since he needs to stand on his own 2 feet, we have to make certain he won't suddenly keel over.
The guide stops in front of us. The view is obscured from my vantage point, but I realize that he puts his hand in his pocket and pulls out the vial. He brings it to his lips and swallows the rest of what's inside. He then calmly tucks the empty bottle inside his cloak. Without another word, he continues on his path. It's unusual for him to take suggestions so easily. The pain must have truly been a hindrance. We all continue our journey in silence. I watch the guide from behind, and notice that slowly but surely his steps are improving. His limp becomes less and less noticeable. I feel a small wave of relief wash over me. Wisps of hope. It seems unbelievable that the end is in sight. Even that wisp of hope does little to ease the ache inside me. I still feel hollow inside. Those of us remain continue in the direction of the shore, and the darkness around us begins to break. A seed of worry sprouts in me. Will we make it? The guide ahead seems to have no sign of concern on his face. He is calmer than I have ever seen him. Yeah. I hold on to hope that we will be able to make it. The sky above becomes tinged with red. We head down a long stretch of boards. We will walk further and further into the mist before what comes into view halts my steps. A dead end. I gasped at the sight. It sunk? Why did the bridge have to fall now? The shore is there. I see it right in front of my eyes. Lou's mouth hangs open, completely dumbfounded over the sight.
Is there any other path?
I ask urgently, making an effort to keep myself from sounding too panicked. The guide doesn't respond or even turn to face me. He just keeps staring ahead at the end of the pathway.
Guide? Our way has been taken from us. We need to find another bridge before the sun rises. Listen to me.
Finally, the guide stirs from my harsh calls. He speaks in a distant sort of way, as if he were in a trance.
This bridge didn't sink. It was never the path to the shore. And yet here we are.
What?
I took the wrong way. We can't reach the shore. I wonder how much of this was a mistake.
Oh no! Lou stands still with an icy expression. This cannot be happening. It can't! He took us the wrong way, and he did it intentionally? The medicine, it robbed him of logic, or perhaps it was his will that was lost. If he had taken less, would this not have happened? Or was it over as soon as I left him to the Nixie while on the shore? My mind began to race with a million other questions, but I snapped myself out of it. There is only one pressing matter to attend to at this moment in time. I forcefully grab the guide by his shoulders and make him turn towards us.
You need to show us the correct bridge or else we're going to die.
He brushes my hand off him, dropping his staff to the side in the process. I grab his wrist and try to pull him forward. He remains solidly planted to the bridge, with more strength than I anticipated, given his hazy state. I tighten my grip, intending to make him move this time. However, he speaks before I can.
I have done all that I can. Do what you will.
My hand slips from the guide at those words. I look at him, utterly baffled. We did not understand him, not in any way. I fell back into the corner as the sun rises higher. Someone touched my forearm. Lou is looking up at me with a severe expression on his face.
We need to leave now. The guide, he isn't going to the shore this time.
Is Lou actually suggesting we leave the guide behind to die? The bridge begins to violently quake below us. Lou pulls my arm, urging me to follow him. I swallow hard. This is foolish. There isn't enough time for any of us to make it. Is he aware of that? I quickly grab Lou's hand and we start to race across the boards. Not too much progress is made before the shaking morphs into an urgent shuddering and sinking. Despite the bridge starting to disappear below us, we keep running until there is no more bridge left to cross. I try desperately to tread the water, but my armor weighs me down in this dense fluid inevitably. My strength is quickly sapped away. I don't sink so much as plummet down into the lake. The painful fight burning my eyes and my lungs takes a few minutes to subside. I slip into unfeeling nothingness. Ugh, that was a quick ending. That's why you don't let people do the drugs. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to hit like. That way I know you're enjoying the videos I'm making. Remember to subscribe. That way YouTube brings you back here to see what's next. And I won't take up any more of your time. Have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.